Welcome to our very first episode of the Bulldog Briefing. Each month, we will discuss a current educational topic with three guests who, through their unique role in our district, will view the topic from their own perspective. With our culture's ever-increasing reliance on technology, it's not a surprise that technology has become a major topic in the field of education. As educators, we do not want technology to detract from our students' development or simply be used as a replacement for outdated technology. Ideally, we want to provide technology and training to our students and our staff that enhances their education and allows the students to learn new skills and display their talents. Our partnership with West Liberty University and the Carnegie Mellon Create Lab has offered us the opportunity to reflect on the meaning of fluency and the importance of using technology as a means to develop compassion, equity, authenticity, and agency in our students. I'd like to introduce you to today's guests. We have our technology coordinator, Miss Lisa Clark. Thank you for being part of the show. We have middle school English language arts teacher, Miss Lori Doherty. And we have a senior student, Mr. John Stark. So I appreciate them coming out and being the guinea pigs for our first show. We really wanted to get people's perspectives on these topics. And before it was just me sharing my thoughts and my ideas, and we wanted to open it up so people have a better understanding of what we're doing here at Bridgeport School. So I want to start the questioning with you, Ms. Clark, and you are our technology coordinator. When you are selecting technology, what is your ultimate goal? What do you want to see happen as a district as it relates to using technology to enhance?
Well, when selecting technology, it's not all about the technology. It's more about creating lessons that are more inquiry-based, higher level thinking, so that students are not just memorizing, that we are going above the memorization and the higher level thinking that is involved. I think technology can also give us opportunities to connect to people around the world. We can connect to other classrooms for collaboration projects. We can connect to experts in the field. We can also explore different cultures so that we can enhance compassion and empathy as well. I feel that, that higher level of thinking is a lot of what employers are asking for and want to see in individuals, and that's what we need to enhance. I mean, those things like creativity and innovation and also collaboration, communication. Perseverance is huge when, you're trying to tackle a problem. Are you persevering in order to complete that project? And technology provides all of those opportunities, and it deepens that learning of content and not just memorization.
So what I'm hearing from you, it's not just about the technology or the product, it's using that product to develop skills that they're going to use later on in life.
Absolutely.
Great. Ms. Doherty, you've been part of our Fluency Project, our training with West Liberty and Carnegie Mellon, and we've learned so much together. I know you've taken some of those and have implemented them in your classroom. What are some things that you'd like to share with the panel today?
Well, in May, when we first started the project at West Liberty, I had some ideas for our end of the year 8th grade promotion ceremony. In the past, the Tech Club, Mrs. Clark and the Tech Club used to do a video for us, but lately we've been doing it on our own, and it was very stressful, but the kids ran with the iMovie that was introduced, and they kind of just took it on themselves and created a pretty cool product for our promotion ceremony. And recently, the beginning of the school year, I decided I want to get to know the kids, talking about agency and having them accountable for themselves and showing who they are without necessarily having to write any essays like Mr. Stark probably did in the 8th grade. So I gave them a project. I've given them quite a bit of time. Some of them have started to create an iMovie, a video diary of who they are. It can be pictures and movies and drawings, whatever they feel I should see to know who they are. So I'm kind of curious and anxious to see how that goes. With our gifted professional development, one of the options was a menu choice board. So we're using that in the classroom. We're looking at reading about hurricanes. Instead of giving them just a quiz on what we read, they're creating projects into a digital portfolio, which they're going to share with me that way. So not as big as what Mrs. Clark was talking about, but for me, technology, that's kind of a big step for me, so.
I think that's why it's important to have the different
Anxious.
perspectives. From Mrs. Clark's perspective, she's looking at the district as a
Right.
whole, but that plan falls short if we don't have the buy-in and the support of our teachers in the classroom.
Correct,
And that's really why I wanted to get everybody's thoughts and opinions here today.
correct.
Mr. Stark, I give you a lot of credit for being here. I'm sure
Thank you.
a little nervous laughter,
No,
being
no
the only
butterflies.
being the only student on the panel. I talked to Mr. Davenport prior to selecting you as a guest, and he spoke very highly of the work that you're doing, that you're just not taking a test and spitting out multiple choice answers, that you're actually creating products that not just help you, but help the school. Can you share some of the things you're doing to help?
Absolutely. Every time I'm here at school, I'm always thinking about different ways I can use the technology given to me and to all the students, really, because we all have the opportunity to actually take the information that they're giving us and retain it and use it for ethical ways of living your life. For instance, just recently I got the opportunity to create the cover for the fall sports poster program. And I think I did a really good job. I used Tino Cusick as the cover athlete.
Yeah, it looked great.
And I think a lot of people really like that cover. And not only do I know how to do that, I can do things like logo design. Recently I made a shirt, had my own logo on it. A little bit conceited, but I thought it looked really well.
Ego is the enemy. Good Ryan Holiday book.
But I know how to do those kind of things. If I want to do this as a career, I think I had the right tools here at Bridgeport with the technology that we have to actually really execute that kind of profession that I want to go into in the future. And not only can I do things such as covers and logos, I can do things such as create web pages, designs, coding. All of that technology and tools are there for me. It's really, the sky's the limit.
And you enjoy sports. I hear you do some things with the scoreboard in the gymnasium.
Absolutely. I create videos for the gym board that we got in the gymnasium. I can put videos on there, athletes, senior night, I can edit things like that. Any kind of message I want to portray to the community in the school like that, I can put on there and really express what us as a community are trying to show our students, such as respect and leadership.
So tell me how you feel, you go into a class, you take a test and you get an A on it, but it's just multiple choice, maybe an essay. As opposed to when you create something for the scoreboard and people walk into the gym and you hear people say, wow, look at that graphic.
Right.
What's the difference in feeling as far as, your self-confidence when you leave the school that day?
Well, definitely when you take a test and you do a good job on it, you know that that's really well, and you did it for yourself. But whenever you see other people's reaction to the work that you did, like they're impressed, you get an instant sense of gratification. Like, I really did that. The stuff that I do really changes and influences other people around you, and it's really interesting to see the feedback that you get when you come into a field like that. So when I use technology in a creative purpose like that, it's very interesting to see the reaction I get.
Okay. Now, I want to open that up to everybody on the panel. I think we're heading in the right direction, but the way John described that, and I think it's true with us as adults too. When we do something and we're proud of it, and other people see it and they're proud of it, I think it changes our motivation. Are we doing enough of that, and what can we do to go more in that direction if we think that's the right way to go?
You can go, or?
It doesn't matter to me. I think that we are. I think we're doing a lot, but I think we have a long way to go. Those of us that were involved in the Fluency Project, I think, we're on board. I believe that all of us there are on board, and we want to do more, and we're just hoping that everybody else will jump on board as well.
We're definitely on the right track, I believe, because whenever a student comes in here, as soon as they reach high school, they all have the same tools and the same opportunities, and they all have the same chance to learn. And I think that's where you have to start, at the very beginning. And we're going into the younger ages, such as middle school and stuff like that, and we're setting that seed early that this is the future. So we're really embracing that kind of mindset and going a step into the future.
I think you're right. It starts with the younger grades. And when you start with these inquiry-based projects, you can't just throw them out and expect them to go perfectly. There's trial and error. And if a student's really used to taking a paper and pencil test, they might have some trouble when you say, hey, you have an open-ended assignment here. You're going to create a video board. But if we start doing that at the younger levels, that becomes the sense of normalcy. And I think that does increase intrinsic motivation when they see their product on display, or they know they're doing something to help someone else or help the school community as a whole.
Yeah, and I think we're giving a lot of opportunities for our students. I think we're talking and discussing it a lot more about how we can provide those opportunities. And I like what I see so far. I do. And I think we have a lot of students coming out of Bridgeport who have the skills to be employed.
Yeah, definitely.
And the state report card came out last week. Is there any concern that if you go to this inquiry-based model where students have more creativity, that it could harm the long-term test results that are based on more standardization?
I don't believe so. I don't. I think if you do a lot of these problem-based learning activities and that students are using those higher level skills, I think they're going to do well no matter what.
Absolutely.
I do.
But we're lucky to have a superintendent and a board that are behind us and that are willing to allow us to do this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It's a total team effort. I mean, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. You have to have people who believe they're doing the right thing for kids, and you have to have students who want to achieve, and you put them in positions to succeed, and then let them carry the ball. I equate it to a lot of coaching. I mean, you play basketball. You know, your coach is out on the floor with you during practice,
Right.
guiding and instructing. Where's your coach at during the games?
Right by the bench, ready to cheer us on and yell at us whenever we shoot unintentional threes that don't go too well.
And that's what we need to do more with school, that, yeah, there's still a place for lecture, there's still a place for notes, there's still a place for your standard tests, but at some point, you know, we as educators have to schedule games for our students, to where we're on the sidelines and we're watching them complete a task, much like, you know, you shooting maybe an ill-advised three, but it goes in.
Right.
Where do you think you learn best, John? Do you learn best taking a paper pencil test, or do you learn best when Mr. Davenport or one of your teachers actually has you complete a project?
I learn best whenever I feel like I can express myself in a way that is normal to me. Because every person kind of has a different learning curve. But when it comes to me, I need to feel like what I'm doing is meaningful to me. And I think the work that I do in school every day is very meaningful to me because I think that it actually affects my future. So the more time and I put into my craft and things, learning the different technologies in Mr. Davenport's class and things like that, I feel like it really affects what I'm going to do in the future, whether it's good, bad, or in between.
Great. Any parting thoughts?
I don't know, I hope that we kind of stay on this track. I mean, Mrs. Clark, Mr. Farrell, Mr. Davenport have been a huge asset to us. You know, whenever I'm stuck, I just call one of them and they might send me a kid. They might come themselves. Mr. Davenport sent me Sydney Lowe to help me with a little mini project I had in my room, and it's hanging in my room, and hopefully that might inspire some of our 8th graders to, hey, this is pretty cool. When I get into high school, you know, that's something I'd like to try.
I think the important thing is to realize that technology changes. You know, this pen right here was modern technology above the old feather and quill. But as Ms. Clark's talked about, is that it's an avenue for students to tell their own narrative, for us to tell our own narrative, to create our own story. The most important story that we tell is the one that we tell ourselves. And if technology can be a means for us to do that and to help our students and build that confidence so they can go out and accomplish things, then we're using technology the right way. Well, that concludes our first episode of the Bulldog Briefing. Next month, we have an exciting episode. We'll have our high school principal, Mr. Tom Daly, talking about the leadership initiative in the high school. And we'll also have a few other special guests. Thank you for watching this episode. And remember, the Bridgeport School District, tradition, community, the future, and it's all of our responsibility. Thank you.